on Newsnight. Join us with your views and comments. Send us a WhatsApp 0244340437. Well, tonight the attention is on Obuasi once more. A team that was sent in by the Health Ministry from the Ghana Health Service have returned with a bleak picture of the situation on the ground there in Obuasi when it comes to the coronavirus and the way it's spreading like wildfire among the people there. And they are now rolling out a series of measures to trace, isolate, and treat those infected. Head of Disease Surveillance, Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bekwing, says Obuasi Municipality has no treatment center at the moment, but says steps are now being taken to identify a 100-bed facility that will be used.
And then we're going to carry out enhanced contact tracing in very high risk areas. Obuasi has very densely populated communities like Bahabobomi, Tutuka, Central Market, Einem, Asankore, Wawasu, Bumpe, Kunka. So these are highly densely populated communities that the focus is to see whether we can pick some positives in that community. Then we're also going to do mass voluntary testing among certain at-risk groups, including taxi drivers and food vendors. So that's by way of trying to address surveillance and contact management in Obuasi. KCC is the main lab that does testing, but they have been under a lot of stress. Until recently, they were testing most part of northern Ghana. So you can see that accounted for the backload, that accounted for we somehow missing this magnitude of a disease burden. But when we went there, they had challenges that they needed extraction kits, which DG and the ministry is trying to get it provided. And then if you look at Ghana's intervention, we initially started with swabs, but now have gone on to do sputum. So now we have a bit more of swabs now, so they are going to use swabs in addition to the sputum. Then for case management, as I said, Obuasi has no treatment center, so the plan is to have 100-room isolation center. The idea is that they currently now have a 22-bed facility, which is actually made up of hotels, and the regional minister has actually identified a 48-room facility, which is hoping to be used as the isolation.
So a lot of measures there from the team that was sent in. This is a team that was sent in, a high-powered team led by senior officials of the Ghana Health Service into Obuasi following the surge in coronavirus cases there. In fact, one report says from the Municipal Security Council that the Obuasi's cases now constitute more than 75% of the total case count of the entire Shanti region. And yesterday, the Municipal Chief Executive for Obuasi, Elijah Adansi Bonar, told us that the Assembly has made recommendations including additional imposition of restrictions, a possible lockdown on Obuasi, and they are waiting a decision from the presidency.
We are talking about the security agencies, police, immigration, prisons, and the clinicians, talking about the doctors and the public health nurses who have been helping us in the fight against COVID-19, as well as the leadership of Obuasi East and Obuasi Municipal. We met yesterday and took decisions on some of the issues that came up from reopening of the market, enforcement, isolation centers, and what have you. So when we met yesterday, the clinicians also said something that any form of restriction that can also enhance contact tracing would be appreciated. And I'm not an expert in terms of health issues. They have advised we would also escalate the advice to our bosses. So whatever decision that will be taken from the center We have to respect that. But if you ask me, yes, either partial lockdown or curfew, but that can be announced by the president.
So partial lockdown or curfew. So that's the sense you get when you speak to the security officials there. And by the way, that is a municipal, the chairman of the Municipal Security Council speaking there about what he believes should be the way forward. You will recall when the president lifted the 3-week lockdown on Ashanti region and on Greater Accra region, he laid out a roadmap, including the imposition of curfews in communities where they record surges in coronavirus cases, such as we see in Obuasi.
Whenever the situation so warrants, a community in which the virus is identified as becoming prevalent will be locked down until there is a clear understanding of the trajectory of the virus that will allow us to contain it. We must obey the measures still in place, including the new ones, because we know our survival depends on them.
Thankfully, we can now speak to the Ashanti Regional Minister, who is also the chairman of the Ashanti Regional Security Council, Simon Evans Mensah. Mr. Simon, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, and you are welcome.
Are we going to see a lockdown on Obuasi?
Thank you, and greetings to your cherished customers. Actually, I cannot see that there's going to be a lockdown in Obuasi or not. As you know, I'm not a health professional, and most of these decisions will also come from the presidency upon advice of the various health workers or the advisors on health of the presidency. I take advice from the...
Well, we lost him there. We'll get him back as we get some clarity for the people of Obuasi tonight. And many of you in Obuasi are reaching out with your messages on the story. I want to bring in virologists with the KNUST. He's also a researcher with the KCCR, that testing center there, Dr. Michael Owusu. We'll come to him shortly, but we lost the regional minister a short while ago. Thankfully, he's back. Mr. Simon Owusu, we lost you. I mentioned we lost you briefly. You were making a point about taking advice also from your health experts.
Yes, since I'm not a health professional, I normally take the advice from the health professionals within the region. So the advice they give me, that I also communicate to my superior, that's to the presidency, for consideration. And as you know, the president also has advisors on health. They also advise him, and the president, together with other considerations, will take the necessary decision. For now, I cannot talk about lockdown or partial lockdown because we have not been advised as such. But if the need arises, and maybe the presidency feels that there's a need for any action, they will communicate to us. But for now, I cannot see anything in that direction.
The health experts, I'm sure that you mentioned, are part of the meeting. We just had the municipal chief executive say, as far as he's concerned personally, maybe a partial lockdown, a total lockdown may work. I wonder what the health experts are telling you.
I'm not going to go along that track because when the last time we met, and even this morning I met with the regional director of Ghana Health Services and his deputy. And the curve that they showed me does not indicate that. So I cannot say there will be a partial lockdown or total lockdown or whatever, curfew or whatever. As I have said earlier, the advice given to the president will serve as the basis for whatever decision that the president will take, in addition to other considerations, because the information available to the president will serve as the basis for whatever decision that you take. Let's not forget that whatever decision you take at a particular time is based on whatever information that you have concerning that particular topic or that particular issue. So for now, I will not say there could be a lockdown or there could not be a lockdown. But from the curve that they showed me, that in May, it looks as if the curve is frightening. And if it's flattening, then I doubt maybe that proposal or that recommendation can come from the health personnel within the region.
Okay, so the clarity there is that the latest information you've seen show that the situation with the cases in Obuasi seem to be going down.
Yes, it rose sharply because there was backlog of samples that had been taken and that had not been worked on. So when the backlog was cleared, then it shot it up very fast. But after that point, certain point in April, from that time onwards, is smoothing out to some extent. So we'll wait to hear from them, whatever advice. But looking at that particular case, I'm not too sure if they will recommend lockdown or curfew or something.
Okay.
The other side, the municipal chief executives had to shut down some of the markets because they were not observing the social distancing protocol. They put some systems in place which they need to test to see whether it's going to work. If that works, maybe the market will be reopened for traders to go on with their normal trading activities, except to observe the social distancing protocol and also wearing the face masks, because it's compulsory and it's mandatory within the region. The president himself said the wearing of face masks is mandatory, and we need also to apply that and operationalize that within the region. So in the region, the wearing of face masks is compulsory, and since Saturday, the Regional Security Council gave approval to the security agencies to take sanctions against people who are found in public places without wearing the face mask, especially drivers of commercial vehicles and the passengers on board who will not be wearing the face mask. Also, if you are found going to any office without face mask, we directed that the authorities within the office or the management should drive that person away. We should not allow the person to enter the office until the person goes for a face mask. So we have some of these directives that we've issued. Anybody they find in the marketplaces without face masks, action will be taken against that particular person. These are some of the things that we are doing here. Since April 8th this year, we placed temporary or indefinite ban on special market days. So we are not allowing anybody to organize special market days. But when you organize those special market days, you have all walks of people coming from across the various parts of the country, all congregating at one point, and then ensuring social distancing becomes a hell of work for us to do. And for that matter, all special market days within Ashanti region since April 8, 2020 have been suspended indefinitely. But normal markets can go on, and those are the ones we try to regulate the distancing among the various traders.
Okay, and that is the Ashanti Regional Minister there. I want to bring in Dr. Michael Owusu now. He's a virologist and the researcher with the KCCR. Dr. Michael Owusu, what intervention would you want to see in Obuasi with the latest information now we are getting?
Yeah, good evening, Evans, and good evening to all your listeners. So, the Obuasi case for me is quite interesting. You have a population of about 220,000. And you don't forget that their very first case was somewhere 13th of March, and second case was around 29th of March. So it's not surprising that it's taking some time for us to see a quite huge surge in a number of cases. But what is surprising in Obuasi is that the surge in case does not seem to correlate with hospitalization and death. So ideally, you want to implement lockdowns or enforce restrictions when you see that the surges correlate with increasing hospitalization and deaths. So most of the people in Obuasi seem to be more like asymptomatics, and they don't seem to be recording such numbers at their hospitals. This is what is surprising there, which will mean that you want to enforce the precautions for wearing of masks whilst you put surveillance measures at the health facilities so that in case one or two people get sick, you will be able to manage them. That is what is peculiar about them. I expect that at these numbers, you will see some surges in the hospitals and perhaps some surges in the death. But this is not what is happening, which makes their case quite interesting for us.
Doc, thank you very much. That is Dr. Michael Owusu there. Now, tonight, government has made available 1 billion cedis for businesses to access under the coronavirus alleviation program. With a year moratorium and a 2-year repayment plan, businesses will, over a minimum of 99 employees, are eligible for funding beginning tomorrow. The finance minister last month got parliamentary approval to make the soft loans available to businesses to address the devastating effects of the coronavirus pandemic on the economy. At the Jubilee House this morning, President Akufo-Addo launched the Adom and Enidaso Loans Scheme to be managed by the National Board for Small-Scale Industries.
It is anticipated that the entire scheme will attract some 180 beneficiaries across the country. The scheme is targeted at MSMEs in the formal and informal sectors, which have been affected by the economic downturn caused by the pandemic. Moreover, MSMEs in growth sectors that require additional capital to expand their businesses to meet growing demand for COVID-19 related goods and services can also apply. The sectors include the following: agri and agro businesses, manufacturing, water and sanitation, tourism and hospitality, education, food and beverages, technology, transportation, commerce and trade, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, and textiles and garments.
Well, there's also good news for small businesses with less than 99 employees. Executive Director with the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, Koshi Yankee, says they are open to all who need assistance.
We engaged over 70 sector associations. The target beneficiaries of these loans are the micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, where micro, for the purposes of labor, is 1 to 5 employees, small is from 6 to 29 employees, medium is from 30 to 99 employees. MSMEs that have been negatively impacted by the COVID-19. Those MSMEs that produce goods and items and services that will support the fight against COVID-19. The formal and informal sector, a sector so dear to your heart. The cottage industries across the length and breadth of the nation. The barbers and hairdressers, the caterers, the food vendors, the processors, the private schools, amongst many others, are eligible. Those who are large businesses under this scheme are not eligible.
We know that the Ghanaian economy is going to take a major hit. The Finance Ministry has revised Ghana's projected growth from 6.8 to 1.5. Sector Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is counting on interventions like the stimulus package to revive the economy.
The virus is wreaking havoc around the world, and our economy has not been spared either. We would move from a 6.8% growth that we had as man planned. We are now looking at a 1.5% growth. Life have also been lost, jobs are at stake, incomes are at risk, revenue generation and collection have sharply declined, and the future of the economy is now uncertain. This launch, therefore, is a beginning of normalizing the economy. This is the first phase of our direct intervention plan since the advent of the pandemic, and when we were proactive on bringing relief for the livelihoods of our people during the lockdown. These are indeed challenging and extraordinary times. The IMF predicts global growth will contract by 3% to bring global growth to -3%. African economies are losing about 5% of their growth and all negative. West Africa would also be in the negative range, losing about 5% of growth. Ghana will lose 5% of growth, but fortunately we'll be at 1.5%. And we need to protect this, and we need to move out of that in a hurry.
That is Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. I want to bring in now the chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa. Mr. Akwabwa, thank you for your time here on News 9.
Good evening. I'm actually the CEO, not the chairman.
Oh, the chief executive. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How much of it? I mean, so finally, it's here. I mean, from tomorrow, your members can begin to access the funds available. How much of a difference will this make?
Well, as we say, we thank God for little mercy. It will make some difference because you have to show where a lot of industries and SMEs in particular have really suffered under the COVID situation. So anything small to stimulate their activities would help a great deal. So that's why they are calling this a relief fund. And I think that it will make a difference because if people get access to it, it will help with their working capital requirements and enable them to get back to business. Some of the enterprises, they are even unable to pay their workers because they don't have markets, they don't have the supplies. So some of the workers are being asked to go home. But if you have access to such a facility, it enables you to pay your workers. At least you bring people back to life. And then also raw material becomes a challenge. But then if you have the facility to buy your raw materials, it's also going to help a great deal. So it will make a big difference to a lot of the small enterprises.
Will you apply yourself?
No, I'm actually not eligible because it's not for individuals. I work for association, but we are encouraging our members to apply. Members in the micro, small, and medium enterprise category. We are encouraging them to apply and we are assisting them to apply. But personally, I cannot apply because I'm not running a business.
A business yourself. I mean, happy with the terms though, as an association?
Well, I think that the terms are good. The fact that you have moratorium of up to 1 year, it means that it could be 1 month, it could be 6 months, it could be 9 months, up to 1 year. The moratorium isn't bad. It depends on how the actual implementation is done, because that is just a general framework. And then also the duration of the facility for up to 3 years is also not bad because it's a working capital facility. They explained it. It's not for capex. You are not going to buy machines or build land or build a building and all that. It's just for raw material purchase, paying for utilities and all that. So it is for working capital. And if it's working capital, the period of the loan facility is not bad. So as far as that is concerned, that is good. The only concern I have is the quantum of money. It's not so much if you consider the number of enterprises we have registered in Ghana, within AGR membership and all the associations all together and across the country, the amounts appear small. But what can we do? Government is also under pressure because government is not getting enough revenue from the various sources. So there's so much we can do. So let's monitor and see how well it works and have a strong indication that if it works well, perhaps additional funds may come in. So I see this more as experimental stage. Let's see how well it works. I think that is basically it. So,
yeah, I mean, this is the Oliver Twist in you speaking there. Wanting more, I guess. This is it.
And why not? And why not? Yeah. Because I know that enterprises are in demand and serious need of funds. And of course, this is not big enough to cover everybody. And not big enough to solve all their problems.
Yeah, Mr. Kwabena, the president said today that they are targeting 180 businesses in all for this in the stimulus package. So I guess they have a target, and if that's the target, then I guess the 600 million may just be enough. Correct?
I think the 180 sounds small because if you look at the number of businesses. And this is not only for a segment of the MSME categories. It's for the entire MSME sector. So 180 sounds small. I believe that the numbers will be way above that. And I think the projections they've made is way above it. So
okay.
I expect it to be more than 180 enterprises accessing this facility. It's definitely going to be more.
Have been mentioned as a likely running mate. Speaking on PM Express last night, Mr. Mould confirmed he is interested in the position and wants to be considered. He says he has the trust of the former president and has paid his dues to the NDC.
I am working with my party, and any position my party wants me to help them in, I am prepared to do that. I've worked with them from the transition team in 2009 to working at the Ministry of Energy with the Minister, at NPA, at GMPC. I am working with the party for us to develop our structures, develop the organization, make it more fit for purpose and ready for the election. And that is what my job is. So any role that the party deems based on my skill set and my background, I am prepared to assist in it.
Including the vice presidential?
Including the vice presidential, yes.
Okay. So if you are nominated, John Mahama does so, this is something that you embrace?
Well, I think there's a process that goes. The flag bearer has to work with the functional executive of the party in consultation with the elders, come up with the criteria and choose it. And yes, if they call me and nominate me, and I pass the criteria, I definitely will accept.
You think you'll pass the criteria?
I don't know what the criteria is. I mean, it hasn't. Nobody has called me to explain it to me yet. I don't know what it is.
Talking about criteria, what qualities in a running mate would you like to see, or will be best suited for the NDC as it seeks to win back power?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to look at what the flag bearer is looking for, and somebody who he can trust, somebody who can be his confidant, somebody who can assist him in various areas, complement him, and also take leadership in certain areas. So that is, I think that's going to be the main criteria.
Does John Mahama trust you?
I think he trusts me. He wouldn't have offered me.
You're not sure?
He would have offered me the largest, corporate job in the public sector.
Arguably.
Yeah, well, it is.
So where we stand currently, what's your personal relationship with the man John Mahama, now in opposition as a leader of your party?
Well, as you know, I mean, I was part of the team that got John Mahama re-elected as the flag bearer of the nation. So he asked me to be part of that team.
When you say you were part of the team, what specifically did you do?
Fundraising and also in operations and strategy.
For him?
For him.
Okay. I mean, you brought in quite a sizable amount of money.
That's the job.
And in that role, you dealt with him personally?
Absolutely, personally.
You speak as if you really paid your due to John Mahama.
It's not to John Mahama, it is to the party.
Why would you want to be? You're a successful man. Ghana Standard Chartered, Bank of Switzerland, GMPC, NPA. Why do you want to be a vice president of this republic?
Well, it's not wanting to be a vice president. The idea here is why do I want to help my party? And I want to help my party because I'm very passionate about things in this country. I'm passionate about people knowing the truth. I'm passionate about us forging a path for this country that we haven't forged for a while. I believe that the country has been derailed.
Many of these names have been thrown out there, not by John Mahama or his people, but by people close to him, etc. Kwesi Boche, among others, right? People who serve the party years. Some say they have more gravitas in the party, have contributed blood, sweat, and toil. Among this field, why would John Mahama settle on Alex Mould, who's was a GMPC and NPA. Before then, was in private practice.
Well, the bottom line is that if you are looking for somebody who is going to complement you, you have to make sure that, yes, that person is acceptable to the various factions of the party.
Are you acceptable?
I don't know. And I don't know whether I'll be considered. But all I'm saying is that these are the criteria you have to choose.
Do you want to be considered?
Of course I would like to be considered. I believe I bring to the table quite a lot. I have a background and I have a skill set that can help. I'm sure if the party accepts you, the grassroots would accept you.
What do you say to those who look at your tenure at GMPC and say, you did not help the party enough when you were in that position?
To help the party is to ensure that you do the right job. You have the right governance in place and you do the right things to make sure that what you have been put there for, you do it. So it depends on what the objectives were. It depends on what your key performance indicators were, what they asked you to do. And that's the only way you can judge whether somebody did or did not do what he was expected to do.
This is a silly one, but I need to ask this because it's politics. You are talking key performance indicators with a foot soldier.
Yes. So if he wants an opportunity in your organization and his skill set doesn't fit, you can ask him, you can call another CEO somewhere, you can ask them to look at that. And that is how you help. You just do not fill the places with people who do not qualify.
That is how you kill your political career in a political party.
Well, that's what you. I think that's what you think, but I don't think that's right.
So that is Alex Mould there. But if he even gets to be nominated as John Mahama's running mate and then approved by the party, he will have to come up against the current vice president, because in that position, like for like, that competition will be there. Has he got what it takes? Listen.
First of all, you have to look at what I bring to the table.
And what he brings to the table.
Yeah, and what he brings to the table, and what role he's supposed to play as the vice president, and what role whoever is the vice president will have to play. Definitely, if you look at my pedigree, I have run organizations. I have been at the helm of running profitable organizations. Standard Chartered Bank is an international organization worldwide. And I definitely did a good job there. I moved to NPA, which was a more bureaucratic organization, and I changed it into a high-performing organization. And when I went to GMPC, I did the same. I changed GMPC to become more of a project-led development organization. So it depends on what the role is and what skill sets you bring. But I don't think I'm in competition with Bawumia at all.
If you become, you will be. If you become the running mate, you will be in competition with him. Because December 7 is about competition. Whilst JM is competing for the face on the ballot with Nanado, you'll be competing with your counterpart if you get the nod in
Well, let's put it this way. My pedigree shows that I have been able to manage organizations. I've been able to deliver high-performing organizations,
but you haven't
and my job is
one of the key attributes of politicians is the ability to be absolutely profound in their statement of their capabilities and abilities. You haven't stated for me the boot for boot, as Mahmoud Bawumia will say, Kambu for Kambu. When it comes to this grind of politics, you can match up with him and anybody else.
Well, it's not politics. It's about your ability to deliver. Yeah. So it's not only on politics; it's your ability to deliver.
So that is Alex Mould. He was speaking on PM Express with myself last night. And what do you make of his pitch to be the running mate of John Dramani Mahama? I'd like to hear from you. Send me a WhatsApp 0244-340-437. So listening to News Night is on Joy 99.7 FM. And you want to make a date with PM Express again tonight, because there's a fascinating conversation you don't get anywhere else but on the Joy News channel. We're having a conversation about the future of football post COVID-19. And listen, football after COVID-19, the guest list is just jaw-dropping. Robert Marawa, the sports caster in Marawa TV. Remember him? He used to be with Super Sport. Peter Drury, oh goodness, that commentator, international commentator. You've heard him if you've watched the English Premier League or any of the international football tournaments. John Champion is also live on the show tonight. He's also an international commentator. If not for anything at all, wait for the last name, Kwabena Yeboah, president of SWAG, is also on there. So yes, Peter Drury, the man who just makes football commentating the best art you can ever crave for, and John Champion as well. Arguably the world's top two commentators are live on the show tonight with Kwabena Yeboah, brilliant commentator, sports journalist par excellence is on the show, and Robert Morale as well. Gary Al Smith is hosting tonight. Yes, I lent him the seat for 1 hour plus. It's a special PM Express. You want to make a date and join. Charles Ayite is joining me. Charles, you love football?
I love what I watch, but I don't really partake of the sport.
Okay, so are you a football fan?
Yeah, I am. I'm a football
fan. Okay, so which team do you support?
Hearts of Oak.
Okay, so that's Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure. I mean,
okay. You don't seem certain.
No question. Okay,
tell me what you have in the headline.
Anyway, so coming up in business, Chamber of Mines calls for a review of Mines and Minerals Act, pushing for companies to pay the same royalties. And SMEs not belonging to any association can't access the 600 million to the COVID-19 alleviation program. We'll tell you why. We have more on this coming up in business on Newsnight. First, though, let's take word from our sponsors.
When you want it, just Momo it. When you tire for the long queue in the supermarket, just Momo it. And when you really want that beautiful new blouse too, just Momo it. And when you won't get that thing, when you go get fresh to impress, you know who, just Momo it. And when you need to pay that your utility bill and domestic staff set, just Momo it. And when you want send love to the family for back home, just Momo it. So many ways there. When you go use your MTN Momo wallet or make payments with scan to pay. When you go use the QR code, or you go use the merchant ID or on bank POS terminal. You go also transfer money between mobile money wallet and bank account, all on MTN Momo. Enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions and live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. We are good together. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Boost Sensationary. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Boost Sensationary.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Dear energy consumer, the government has recently announced significant discounts in electricity bills as part of the COVID-19 mitigation. To help you enjoy your 50% discounts and make further savings on your electricity bills, kindly follow these energy conservation tips.
Use LED lights. Don't overlight your rooms and make maximum use of daylight. Make use of natural ventilation and turn on a fan only when necessary. Turn your fan on a medium or slow speed. If using AC at home, use it wisely. It is the biggest electricity consumer in your household, up to 70%. Adjust the temperature of your refrigerator to the optimum range of 5 degrees to 7 degrees and the freezers to minus 18 degrees.
Know what you want from the refrigerator before you open it. Don't put hot foods in fridges or freezers.
Involve your family and spread the word to your co-workers. Save energy and increase your 50% discount. This energy conservation advice was brought to you by Ministry of Energy, Energy Foundation, Energy Commission, and AGI Energy Service Center with the support of the German Development Corporation.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
And you're welcome to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Chamber of Mines is asking government to review the Mines and Minerals Act to make all large-scale companies pay the same tax. The current sliding rate allows mining companies investing more than $500 million to be given the opportunity to renegotiate the rate. Currently, about 3 companies in the large-scale sector enjoy less than 5% royalty payment. My colleague Odelia Ntiamwa starts with the CEO, Suleiman Koni.
you should be able to sit around the table and negotiate with government on various terms. So that is backed by law. But our view is that whilst this is backed by law, the flip side is that when you have a crunch, the relatively smaller companies tend to bear the bigger brunt, and therefore it makes sense for us to look at a level playing field. So that is the advocacy that we're doing, that if indeed things become quite difficult for the industry, when you consider economies of scale, larger companies tend to be less burdened by the small relative to the smaller companies, and that's why we believe that we should have a level playing field, because in such situations the relatively smaller companies tend to be quite hurt, and it's important to have a level playing field.
And that's CEO of the Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Kony. As President Akufo-Addo unveils the disbursement of the 600 million cedi stimulus package for SMEs, business owners within this space are being urged to join certified business organizations or associations to ease up the process of accessing these funds. President of the Automobile Dealers Association of Ghana, Eric Boatin, tells Joy Business only SMEs in good standing will be considered.
The full assurance we have is, if you are not part of any association or union, from my understanding, it will be very difficult for you to even access that loan. So I'll urge everybody, even so far as I'm a car dealer, I'm urging my people, they should try and then cooperate with other union or association, so that if we are qualified to get a particular package from what the government said, you will definitely get yours.
And that's Eric Boatin, the president of the Automobile Dealers Association of Ghana. The initiative, called Closing the Loop, uses a circular economy model to enable local communities to benefit from discarded plastic waste by collecting, reprocessing and reselling it. To this end, the Alliance to End Plastic Waste has announced a partnership with the Asase Foundation to support women entrepreneurs working to reduce plastic waste in the community. Deputy Managing Director of Asase Foundation, Hilda Ada, has been speaking about the partnership and other waste segregation projects.
In collection, if there is no segregation, it is almost impossible to recycle or efficiently deal with the plastic waste that we require. So quality assurance in the plastic waste collection and processing is critical. We can only achieve this if we segregate the plastics at source. So we are engaging communities, especially the homes and then the industrial sites, the filling stations, the restaurants, and then schools, so that they can start to segregate their waste, especially recyclables, from recyclables such as the plastic waste that we require from the other waste that they generate.
Hilda Ada is Deputy Managing Director of Asase Foundation, and that's it by way of business.
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, what's your soul?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. When you attend the year of return, Ankasa. Hey, contractor. A danya wasting ye. Hey, what bush mama me feeling too much?
Who project here? Me friend a gas them from top to down. If you are a gas them.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gas them, man. If I suppose no what do on your quality no question. Extra gas them cement biara. I will cook a crab be over 5,000 plus communities. And a gas them. I donations. SEC schools, I built a clinic. Now, when a packaging now, what's Shadara and environmentally friendly?
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gassem offers you always. Gassem, the nation builder.
It's so live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages. This one from Rex says, since Mr. Mould knows nothing about the criteria for choosing a VP, I'm of the view he is not fit for the job. This one from Niyama says, I think I like Mr. Mould. He sounds very credible and humble. Obviously, all the good work he did at the GMPC is there for all to see. Also, on the other stories we've done so far with the stimulus package, Eric says the funds should have gone directly into paying for the SMEs input cost and not be given to these companies. He believes that the money will be misused. One here says, thank you, President Akufo-Addo, for bringing in Idaso and Adom loans to supporting our businesses. Regards to, he then gives a shout out to somebody that I'm sure he knows is listening to the news tonight. And the final one also, this one on the electricity bill conversation. Many of you say you have seen or haven't seen the benefits. This was good in the Evans. My name is Enchi from a month from Pokwas. I think the mode of distribution of the free electricity should be made known to us so that those of us who buy from these prepaid vendors are not shortchanged, he says. Thank you for those views. Let's do sports now. Hello, Benedict.
Hi, Evans. We're still on the discussion on whether, football should return in the country or not. And this evening, we hear from former Ghana FA Vice President, that's Fred Papu, and he's actually saying that the argument on whether the league should return or not should be based on facts. Now, the German Bundesliga actually got back last weekend. Many countries are watching keenly to see if they can also follow. Now, Fred Papu believes a lot of things should be considered in our case to get a game back.
If we want to go the German way, we must test the people like they did, we must monitor the people like they did, we must have facilities in place, we must get counseling, all other things in place. If we are we able to do that? Can we do that? We have the capacity to do that. Those are questions to ask. Fine, if you play behind closed doors, generally it means you are protecting the fans from getting infected or spreading infection. That is fine, that is acceptable. So definitely, there are serious things that we would have to study critically. We need a lot of very good impartial discussion with a lot of expert input before we can take decisions around the resumption of the league, the nature and the form of the league and things like that. And I'm sure, I hope the FA leadership will create that an opportunity for people to dialogue and bring ideas so that we'll find the best way of going about our league in the midst of COVID-19 and then even beyond.
So that's former Ghana FA Vice President Fred Papu there. Well, tonight is the big one at exactly 9 p.m. on PM Express. Gary Al Smith, he's in the studio, and he's actually going to host 4 of the best commentators you can find
on my show.
Today I'm borrowing Evans' seat. He's been gracious enough to.
Yeah. But your show is 1 hour. This is 1 hour 30 minutes.
Yes.
Please be careful.
Gary,
I might
come and take your thing.
Take it back.
4 of the top, commentators in the world. Tell us about them.
Yes. So they are ready. We just sent a final email. These guys, between them. Mm-hmm. Even though they are 4, I think the apt expression is between them. Yeah. They have about 120 years worth of experience. John Champion started commentary in 1984 when he was 19. Peter Drury started his first commentary
when I was 1.
Peter Drury, you saw the mail he just sent. He actually says that he started commentary with cricket. His first sporting commentary was cricket. Mm-hmm. And they're going to give us a bit more detail about that. But tonight's show will be about football after COVID, and Kwabena Ebua will be heavy to give us. Kwabena is going to tell us some stories that he's never told before, and like Benedict said, PM Express is usually a 60-minute show. Today it's 90 minutes. It's airing across board. The entire weight of the multimedia group is behind it. It will be streaming on Joy Sports Twitter, Joy News Twitter, Joy FM Twitter, Joy Sports Facebook, Joy News Facebook, Joy FM Facebook. As well. On YouTube, it will be live on Joy FM from 9 p.m. to 10:30. If you are not on our social media, please do. We are taking questions for the 4 distinguished personalities. Any questions you want to ask them, they are ready to answer. And the hashtag is PM Express.
And we're already trending. Number 6.
Yeah. Well, listen, I can wait. I can wait to join that conversation. Make a date. It's only on PM Express. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, has directed mass testing of all MPs and their spouses for COVID-19. The exercise scheduled for tomorrow is part of measures to prevent an outbreak of the virus in the House. Now, before the House went on recess, 10 members of Parliament and 5 members of staff went into mandatory quarantine after they arrived in the country from trips abroad. Now, delivering his opening remarks for the second meeting of this session, the Speaker assured every necessary step will be taken to protect MPs.
And as the rate of infection steadily grows, and the state of infection steadily grows, while there is no scientifically approved pill or vaccine, we should adhere to all lay down hygiene protocols to abate the spread. These include washing of hands with soap under running water, cleaning of our hands with clean disposable paper, application of approved hand sanitizers, wearing of approved masks while in public, and observing social distancing, which are requisites for keeping us safe. Honorable members, now that we have arranged and under our arrangement with Ghana, we are participants in public education, as indeed MPs must do. Could you imagine we members here going to educate the public only for us?
Okay, so I guess the point there is, if you're going to lead in education in your communities and constituencies, you must lead by example. And so tomorrow, as we've now been told, the mass testing of the members of parliament will start, and already MPs are encouraging not only the MPs but their spouses also participate in the screening exercise as well. I want to bring in a member of parliament for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak. He joins us on the telephone line just to pick his brain on how prepared he is for this. Mr. Mubarak, this is something that you submit yourself and your loved ones to, correct, tomorrow?
Good evening, Evans. I think I must thank the Speaker of the House and the leadership for acceding to a request by the minority, because for a very long time the minority in Parliament had, raised and requested that, members of Parliament, staff be tested. And I do think that it is welcoming news. But I'm also of the view that beyond the testing of members of Parliament and staff, we should include journalists who are covering Parliament, and also, husbands and wives and spouses of members of Parliament, because that's very, very important. And this is so because even MPs receive a lot of, visitors in their constituency homes, here in Accra, in their offices, and etc. And they come into contact with a lot of people. We know from across the world that in places like Tanzania, they've lost 3 MPs who've died from COVID-19 related sickness. In places like Iran and Ukraine and elsewhere, MPs, members of Parliament, have lost their lives. So it is exceedingly very, very crucial that members of Parliament, their spouses, staff, their spouses, and journalists who cover Parliament get tested. It would further bolster confidence, because one of the challenges we are facing with the COVID-19 fight is stigmatization. Now, if MPs are coming forward and getting tested and, actually pronouncing results of their test, I think this will further bolster, our fight to get all Ghanaians involved in the test.
In the test.
It will take away the issue of stigmatization.
Yeah, and then I guess if that's your argument, then while the testing is happening, there should be cameras around to look at the process and show it, and see that MPs are being tested, how it goes. There must be full transparency, full cameras around. Is this something that you encourage?
I wholeheartedly support that, because there's still a lot of people who don't even believe that COVID-19 is real. I mean, I heard about stories in my own constituency, for instance, where a group of young people argued that COVID-19 cannot, affect a number person.
Absolutely.
And that goes to the heart of the lack of information by many Ghanaians up and down the country.
And I agree with you. And of course, even the testing, we've seen people totally misconstrue what it is. And so it would be good to see, for example, the Speaker of Parliament being tested in the open. I mean, so we see, what it takes and how it's done. And if the Speaker will subject himself to it, why won't you in a constituency? Thank you, Ras Mubarak. Let's bring in our parliamentary correspondent, Joseph Opokugako. Joseph, you just heard there Ras Mubarak advocate that you guys who cover Parliament must be part of those who get tested. I'm sure you'll be more than glad to be tested for it.
Obviously, the indication that staff of Parliament will be tested gives the impression that others who work around here very often but are not necessarily staff will also be tested, because the Speaker's point in making a case for the mass testing of all MPs and staff is that they want to be 100% certain that everyone here is clean so that then as they go about their duties, the infection may not spread. So why not? Why not?
And Joseph, by the way, you won something recently, the International Award for Leadership in Agricultural Journalism by the International Federation of Agricultural Journalists, IFAJ, and the U.S. agricultural firm Altec. Yes, you are our parliamentary correspondent, but many do not know the role you play in leading the team when it comes to issues of agriculture in the newsroom. Listen to the president of the International Federation of Agricultural Journalists, Owen Roberts, and president of Altec, Dr. Mark Linus, present the award to your good self, Joseph.
We appreciate you being here too, so you can announce the award winner this year. And we know you know him. You got to know him through, again, the support that Altec has given to this award. So would you please, I feel like we need a drum roll, but we don't have any drums here.
Joseph, it's great to see you again and to be awarding this award to you.
I'm grateful for this award. I think it will encourage me to want to do more in terms of agricultural journalism, and I look forward to others taking a cue from this and doing more quality journalism going forward. If journalists get the things we do right, if we do our job appropriately, we'll be able to do more in eradicating poverty and dealing with the challenges that the world faces and dealing with hardships than all government in the world put together. I'm very much convinced on that, because I've seen how through journalism changes have been made in people's lives and impacts have been made, and people at war have been brought to the negotiation table and all. And so I appreciate any effort on the part of third parties to encourage good journalism.
And Joseph, what's the price? And is there cash attached to it?
See me in chambers for feedback on that.
Oh, Joseph, well, yeah, for your family members are listening, they'll come to you. Just answer the question. Is there cash attached to the money?
One thing you can be certain of is we'll throw a party for all the folks in the newsroom. So our listeners will be appraised on the date so they can join us for that big party.
You're not letting much out of the bag, do you? Well, that's Joseph Opokugapo, and congratulations to him for winning that award and making us proud there. Yeah, he's promised some food and drinks in the newsroom. That means that I can guess there's some money attached to it. Well, I mean, he doesn't want his family members to know. They'll keep calling him tonight. That's what we do here. We win, and win. Another man who likes winning with tech is joining me with today's edition of the Geek Squad. Hello, Spikey.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm very well.
And the man walks into the studio and he has two phones, one in the left, one in the right, and is busily typing on both at the same time. Only Spikey can manage that. Spikey, what's up tonight?
I'm good. So today, we're talking about, the local tech and COVID-19. Since COVID-19 came, we've seen the efforts of some of our local tech industries trying to help battle it. So we're going to talk about one such solution.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You want to join Spikey and the team tonight as they walk you through that. My name is Evans Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your evening.